Alrighty then. Hey, welcome to Friday Live and Mail Call here at the Retirement Railroad. Of course, I am Steve, and my co-host John C&EI is down in the basement. Bring him up here in a minute. Make sure I get my sound check. I sounded good to John. He sounded good to me, but got to make sure. So I'm waiting for my sound engineer, John, other John. Nah, you're not late. Hi. You got in just before I started. Hint, hint. Waiting on my sound engineer. Hey, Rayron. Welcome. Thanks, Rayron, but I'm not good until a certain person tells me I'm good. He's my sound engineer. John, SRV. How am I sounding? Well, maybe his keyboard's frozen or something. I don't know. Thanks, Wiggy. But I'm still waiting for my sound engineer. All right, John SRV, do I sound okay or not? Ah, there he goes. All right. Having fun at John's expense. Sorry, guys. All right, let me bring up the other John, my co-host, John, Mr. John Linton, or John C&EI. Yeah. Oh, hey, John, how you doing?
Boy, waiting for John SRV to say your sound was good is like waiting for Heath to open a package.
Yeah, exactly.
He must have been asleep or something. I don't know.
Okay, as soon as I go live, what happened? The train I've been running for half an hour.
Yeah.
And then it went into the other train. And, geez. But at least I had a witness, right, John?
Yes, I didn't see it running, but I heard them running, so it was running.
If I lost a gauging on him, so I put him back on, and then he popped off again.
Always.
Not much. Par for the course, all right.
But I can't admit, you don't just have problems during live streams. It happens there in person, too.
That was over a year ago.
Well, yeah.
Still in the testing stages.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I think it will be for a while, won't it?
It's pretty much set now.
Hey, the trolley's running good.
Yeah. Anyway. All right.
Always something.
Now, if you're watching closely, John, right up here, you'll see the Capital City Limited go by.
Haven't seen it yet. You're getting so much stuff up there. It's kind of hard to see a train any place run.
Well, I just need to change camera angles.
Yeah. There it goes. I see it. Yep. And there's the other one. Okay, we're
Where's
good
the other
now.
one? The other one should be going by where here.
That's a good shot there, Steve.
Should be going by there right now.
Yep. See it good. Now, Steve, while we're in this picture right here, did you ever put freight inside that truck trailer that you cut open?
There's a forklift on the dock with a pallet of products getting loaded on it.
Okay. Yeah. I remembered you had been saying you were going to do something like that since you had to cut it open.
I actually want to make some racking and put, cases on the racking and slide it in through the open doors to the inside of that building. One of these years. Because that building comes off the layout, unplugs and comes right off.
Yeah, because that's your lift out section there.
Right. So. Then I've got your favorite scene. It's running. Oh, the red is the back end of the cement mixer.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, have you got the sound in that yet?
Oh no! That's one of the
Well,
things
why
we're going
not?
to do over the next 10 years.
You said you were going to put sound in that boxcar.
Well, it's not a box car; it's a cement car, but
Oh,
cement hopper. But I am eventually. Just like I'm
eventually.
going to put lights in all of my passenger cars eventually.
Yeah, okay.
Just like I'm going to do the Downers Grove scene that sits over my desk eventually.
Yeah. Well, if Downers Grove takes 25 issues like Chicago did, you got enough product there to,
Chicago's not done yet.
I know, and we're at 25 now?
Yeah, somewhere around there, yeah.
Yeah.
I've got, a matter of fact, I finally, after 6 months of watching eBay, picked up the missing City Classics 5-story building I needed so that I can finish the Chicago scene.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, I still haven't tried to scan that 5-story that I have yet.
And,
Outside working again yesterday, taking up some of my time.
yeah.
But,
Hey, Anthony! Who have I missed? Did I miss anybody? No, I don't think so. I think I got everybody. Okay. So, let's see where Campbell's models are going out of business. Hell, I thought they went out of business 20 years ago.
Campbell's, I don't think I've ever heard of them.
Oh, hell, they're a Craftsman kit that dates back to the 1960s.
Huh. I don't think I have ever seen one.
Oh, they're in all the old Model Railroader, Model Railroad Craftsman, all those magazines are in way back when. They did a lot of bridges and buildings and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. I used to get the Model Railroad Craftsman magazine, but I always had this problem where it would run out before I'd redo my subscription because they wouldn't send out any notices. And it would, default to, well, no, you need to reapply, and this time we want a full year's payment up front. So, well, that's what I do anyway because I pay for a year's subscription. Well, now we have to have that from you first. Then send out the renewal. I like your magazine. Yeah, so I finally gave up with them, and I still get the model railroader every month.
Right.
I've got some copies back when I bought them back in the '60s. Um,
You know, I like hardcover magazines better than I like trying to read them online.
yeah,
But I don't subscribe to them anyway. So I don't know. I don't have time. I'm retired and I don't have time to read them.
yeah. I find that I tend to read all the articles. Like one that came out, oh, I don't know, it was maybe 6 months ago, that had information on wiring a turntable and how your
Okay.
tracks adjacent to it should be set up with the actual opposite polarities than it is from straight across from it. So it's pretty interesting. I can't even talk today. Pretty interesting article that was on that, and I enjoyed it. But
Well,
I'd
here's the
rather
problem.
read out of a magazine.
Here's the problem. If you want to with a conventional turntable that does not have a reversing circuitry built into the turntable like Walters does, um, if you reverse the engine, regardless of how you had the polarity set up, the polarity is going to be reversed on the turntable versus the siding. Okay?
Mm.
So unless you put a double throw uh, uh, double pole, double throw switch for that siding, all right, and have them color coded like one's red, one's green, and then have the turntable put a dot of red and a dot of green on each end of it. All right, you're not gonna, you're always gonna create a short. Okay,
Mm.
so you know, I like how Walters. Granted, there is a dead spot on the Walters turntable because that's where it reverses the circuitry at. All right, so if you got sound running and you don't have a keep alive in it, it's going to cut out.
Yeah, yeah.
But,
Now I
but I've
did
been real
see.
happy.
I saw a video on somebody who was able to correct that problem. Uh, Actually made it a digital um, turntable where it has sound all the way around.
Walters has a DCC kit that you can put on it, so you can index it that way. You know, you just program it in, and it may be nothing more than adding in a digital AR circuit. That's you're going to have a pause, as you well experienced here on my reversing loop. All right, how
Mm-hmm.
it cuts out and then cuts back in. All right?
Yeah.
I mean, granted, it's pretty quick, but all it takes is just a split second, and the decoder drops off. So, and then has to refire back up. And I mean, the digital ones don't do that. And I'm still waiting to, what is it, AR 15 or AR 10 or what? I can't remember what it is that I got to do. So,
Yeah. So when are you going to put that in?
I got to buy it first.
Oh well, if you'd stop building Chicago, you'd have plenty of money to buy
Yeah.
it. No, Chicago is looking very good, Steve. Very good.
I'm really, really, really happy. You know, I get these visions of what I want it to look like. Okay. And that's why I was originally an architectural engineering major, because I have a good design sense, spatial relations, etc. So I formulate things in my mind, and then I'm amazed when I get them built that they turn out as good or better than what I had anticipated. So, and you know, I'm not a nitpicky guy. I'm not a great modeler. I'm not a Boomer or Luke Cowan or any of those guys. You know, I don't want to go into that kind of detail. I don't see the necessity in it for me personally to please myself.
Yeah, but you do a very good job, Steve. Um, it as one that's actually been there and seen it in person.
Carl, where have you been, my man? I haven't seen you in ages. Wow. Glad to have you, Carl.
But no, you've done a very good job, Steve.
Oh, thank
Really,
you. I appreciate it.
and uh, those that haven't watched you for a long time don't realize how much you have actually done in the last year and a half. It's amazing.
Yeah, this whole thing's less than 3 years old.
Yeah.
Cool. Um, so John, you want to go through your first mail call that I got the pictures of?
Sure. Um,
Which one you want to go? Which one you want me to show first?
Whichever one you bring up,
I think
I can talk about it and
it's
point some things out. Um, of
uh,
course, these are some of my new tractors from Mini Prints, and if hopefully you can see in the picture how much detail that he's put onto these. If you look on the tractor that's laying on its side, you can actually see the muffler and exhaust system that he put on underneath there. And the steering wheels are very fine and detailed. Um, it's just amazing what a resin printer will do.
yeah, I'm
And
amazing at. Well, you got to start with the design file, and whether they're scanned or whether they're drawn out or whatever. Bernard does a hell of a job with the
yes,
detail on those. On those.
and so I got three of them, and then and this was not my monthly mini prints. Bernard was running a March Madness free shipping, so I've been wanting some more tractors for some of my flat cars to have on there as new ones coming in.
So, what brand, what color scheme are you going to put on those tractors?
These are going to be red as Massey's.
Okay.
Uh, it's not the Olivers that he has on there also. I want to get maybe three of them
Yeah,
also.
I'd paint them
And
orange and cream myself, but
yeah, I'll probably do. I'm not sure which tractors those are supposed to be. I can't remember if he mentioned on there which design, but it looks like an old Massey Ferguson.
he
Um,
said one time what they were, and I can't remember.
yeah, I'm not sure, but I like red tractors. Um,
My uncle worked for J.I. Case. That's why I said cream and orange and red.
yeah, and the Olivers that he has a picture of, the one painted in there, they're a dark green and a yellow front grill. Um, but just outstanding detail on them. So any of you that are thinking about maybe ordering some tractors, very good quality. They were $10, which is reasonable. You know, the ones that I've been buying at Zitniks, they run about $8 a piece, and they don't have this fine a detail on them. So it they're real nice tractors, real nice. Okay, you can go to the
Okay.
next picture, please.
I can do that.
Yes. Jason, how are you today? Now,
Hey, Jason.
any of you that have the month of the club, Prince of the Month Club, have already seen this. This is the rusted pickup truck on blocks. Well, I wasn't a member of it yet, so I had to order one of these. It can go along with my junkyard car that just came in this last month's Print of the Month Club box. Again, it just fine detail on this. I mean, it has a complete interior. It's just amazing how the 3D printers can do that.
I got mine back in March of last year as the print of the month. I think it was March or April, and used it in my contest entry on my backwoods Bordello.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I still have a bunch more I got to add to it. So.
Yeah.
You ready for the next one?
Yep.
Robert. Enjoyed all your videos as of late, Robert.
And this one, yes, it may be a Canadian speeder, but I don't care. It's my railroad. I wanted to have a little speeder on there, and it comes with 2 figures that are in the bag there to go in it. Again, just the detail on it's so nice. It really is amazing what you can get out of them. And I guess
No, Lynn, I have not entered any of the peanut butter lid contest ones because I didn't have a peanut butter lid. I did finally get a peanut butter lid. Oh, you can't see it. I do have one, so maybe next time.
And I was about the same. I didn't have a peanut butter lid to enter the contest, so
and
I do have one now.
If I'm busy working on the railroad, I don't have time to do a diorama for a contest. So the reason I did the contest I did was because that's actually one of the scenes on the railroad. And so I built the scene and then just took pictures of it on the railroad. Having a peanut butter lid on the railroad probably would not look appropriate.
Well, now, Steve, if you had a round circle, you could cut in your layout so you could just set that down in there. Then you could rotate the scene to have it different views.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Just what I need to do. Not.
Yes. Well, I always give you all these great ideas. You just
wonderful ideas.
Yes.
Wonderful ideas.
That was my 4 items. I got actually 5 items I got from Mini Prints special order, and I'm happy with all of them. He really does a good job printing those. So. Jason saying, speaking of contest, not many have entered his contest.
I did.
Even an engineering degree doesn't help you with that calculation you have.
No, he changed it. He made it easier.
Oh,
he made it a lot easier.
I haven't looked at that yet. Then I need to see that one and try it. Maybe I can figure it out. But I couldn't even read the small numbers on my large screen television. You know, it's like, come on.
Well, yeah, I couldn't read it either. Hey, Stephen, the plumber. Good to have you.
So, and I did have one other mail call, and I was watching one of the Freaks live shows. He was working on turnouts or switches, whichever you want to call it, making them with the tool system, and he he asked the question, what was missing from his tools on the desk? And I guess I was the first one to figure out he didn't have any files on there. So I actually won a little contest
Oh, okay.
and got a Train Freak mug for it.
Well, that is cool.
Yeah,
That is
very
cool.
nicely done too. Um,
All right.
and I am drinking coffee from it.
Nice. Nice, nice,
So,
nice.
Jason, you freak, thank you very much. It will be utilized.
I thought, Lynn, you had to have at least one mini print item on the peanut butter lid. I
And
could be
that's
wrong, but
what
that's
I
what I was
understood.
under that impression.
Yeah, that's what I understood also. But yeah,
Um,
so that's all I got this week.
all right.
I'm kind of
I'm
slow on ordering stuff right at the moment.
trying to clear off these images now.
I figured I'd take pictures of them, send them to Steve because when you try to zoom in with my camera here, it gets too blurry. So I think the best
Yeah.
way for me to do it is to send Steve pictures so they'll look a little better for you all. I still like that view there, Steve. That's a good one.
Everybody says that. You can't see anything.
Yeah,
There's no
actually,
detail
you
to it.
can. I can see it fine on there.
Well, that's because you've seen the railroad. You know what's where.
Well, at least most of it, but um,
I
you can
think
see
it.
the trains moving. Like
I
I
think
see
the
the
deadline, Plumber. I think the deadline is like right now, or within a few days of now, or just a few days past. We're right at the current contest deadline, if I'm not mistaken.
for
Sorry,
which
John.
contest, Steve?
The
Oh,
current
peanut
peanut
butter
butter lid
lid. Yeah,
contest.
yeah. I think it is. I think it's at the end of the month, isn't it?
This
Oh no,
Sunday,
it's
Lynn
happening
says.
Sunday. Okay. Yeah, and he does have a new Facebook page. I don't know if you've got it yet or not. It's I know Lynn and I are both on there. It's
Yeah, he sent
Mini
me the link.
Prince. Yeah, Mini Prince Modeler. Oh, there's something else on there. Lynn, maybe you can help on that name. It's Mini Prince Modelers Forum, maybe. But
Who knows?
yeah,
Something.
Lynn has some pictures on there already.
I still have hundreds of mini prints I gotta paint.
Yeah, I'm looking at 4 boxes right now I've got to do that I haven't even started on. But they're there, and if when I have time, they'll get done. Yeah, Mini Print Modelers Forum, I think. So, did you get any mail this week, Steve?
I did. Where's the problem is? Oh, I haven't done a tip of the day on it yet, but I'm gonna. And what it is, and what's causing my issues right now, I'll show you. Most of my, if not all, not all, but most of my passenger cars are the old Atherns. Okay, and uh, these Northern Pacifics kept intermittently derailing, and the gauging was right, and I mean everything was right, and it was happening in a couple of different spots, and other cars would go through no problem. And so I was wondering what it was. And I
A little bit
finally,
farther up, Steve. Can't see it.
I finally,
There you go.
it's because I didn't have it in my hand yet, John.
Okay. Sorry.
The these Atherns have one side plastic, one side metal wheels, and the metal wheels look clean. So you assume that the plastic ones are clean. Well, if you take a fine screwdriver or some tweezers and you move the axle like this, what happened was this is like a retread on an 18-wheeler.
Oh my word.
Okay. Not only does that create what can be a slightly bumpy ride, it cuts down the effectiveness of the flanges on the wheels. So I've been methodically going through all these cars, cleaning them up, or trying to anyway. And it's, I've got, let's see, 7 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I've got 50 different cars to do. So if anybody wants to question metal versus plastic, there's all different kinds of reasons to go for metal over plastic. Well, one of them is the metal doesn't collect grime like the plastic does.
That is correct.
As proven in this example.
I got to admit, I have gotten some used cars that, yes, I've taken the retread off of them.
They look fine. That's,
Well, they're black, so
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, to the naked eye, they look fine.
And I think there's only a couple reasons why you have to make sure that the insulated sides are on correctly. That's one, if it's a metal truck, or two, if you're running power to do your lighting. Other than that, if they're not metal trucks and they're not you're not running lighting, I don't think the insulated sides have to be over the same side on each one. Is that correct, Steve?
Correct. Although it makes, as long as they stay on the track, it doesn't make any difference. It could on some turnouts because of the closeness and stuff. It could create some issues. But anyway, I got rid of all my metal trucks. A lot of my freight cars were circa early 60s, late 50s, and a lot of them had the spring-loaded metal trucks.
Mm-hmm.
And I got rid of all of those early on because it created all kinds of issues.
I think I've only got one or two like that, and I know one of them that I was trying to replace.
Ray Burleson.
It fell apart when I was trying to replace the wheels or the trucks. The trucks fell apart when I was trying to put the wheels in, so I just gave up on that, and I'll get some new trucks for it.
Yeah.
They're neat because they at least they add weight to the cars, but boy, those little springs in there pop out real easily.
Yeah, I don't. I'll never have them on a piece of rolling stock. So.
Yeah.
Let's change screens. We can go back to that one because John likes this one.
just shows all your track.
Yeah.
And then maybe I can see one derails and let you know about it.
Well, normally I put that, I set it all up around 8 o'clock in the morning. I start running the trains because with all the different sections, there's some fine tuning that often has to be done. And I didn't have that opportunity today, so I just did a little adjustment over there on the lift out section because I was popping one of the E unit wheels off, which was creating issues further down the line. Anyway.
Yeah, that's
absolutely right.
It's always a problem with lift out or bridges. I've seen where they've actually installed the computer board ties right at the end, the very last one, so they can really secure it, the track in place. But even those, sometimes they just don't fit. Sometimes with any kind of moisture that gets into your room, and you have an expansion and contraction of your rails or your wood,
humidity, it all comes into play.
Oh yeah. So. And you're probably up in the mid to high 90s down there now, Steve.
Right now it's 87 degrees and outside and 45% humidity. In this room it's 82 degrees and 44% humidity.
Yeah. Yeah, see, I got a whopping 67 outside and light rain.
But our humidity changes dramatically. Inside this room, not so much. But as you know, John, this room is actually part of the outdoor section of the house that has been enclosed. So it does not have true climate control, only this little portable AC unit that makes it
and your sliding doors open.
Yeah, and the sliding doors open. 2 of them. Yeah.
But still, you got a lot of glass there that's not insulated.
Correct. And I'm not sure that the ceiling above is insulated either.
Yeah, maybe. It may have that foam in between the aluminum panels.
Not sure.
But it's a difficult thing to do, to have your bridges and your lift outs always set properly. I know this one right here by for the river, I know you have problems on the right hand side of that one sometimes.
Not anymore.
No, you got that fixed?
Yeah. Yep. Those are fine. Most of the drop down is fine. I got 2 sections that go in the staging that are problematic, so I'm going to change the lead-ins to those because what's happening, it creates an S-turn going through there.
Yeah.
Which pushes, as you're backing the cars in the staging, it has a tendency to push the car off right at, because it's going into the staging on the S curve is right at the seam, so it has a tendency to push it off. And I can fix that. I just need to change the switches around. Eventually, John. That doesn't mean tomorrow.
Oh, come on.
And you're right. I did have a mail call this week. I'm sorry to say, about a month ago, 3 or 4 weeks ago, y'all may recall the tip of the day was tearing apart Union Station and redoing the chandeliers.
Mm-hmm.
I was reading Jason's comment. Yeah, I'm not worried about how miserable it is, because I can keep the temperature humidity bearable in here for the most part. But the humidity does change dramatically. But anyway, let's get back to Union Station. So lo and behold, just after this live stream, as a matter of fact, last week, the first chandelier started blinking. You know, I thought it was those internal resistor LEDs. And so I yanked those out and put pre-wires in that I've never, ever, 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 ever had any problems with. Well, after the live stream last week, one of them started blinking. On Saturday, two more started blinking, and the first one stopped altogether. And I said, I got to look into this. And so I took the lid off and tore it out. And it could only be one thing. All right, because the bus line, the power feed to the building's fine because there's 3 other lights on the outside that are okay. It's only the ones in the chandeliers. And LEDs are not hot, so it's not the LED itself. But if you feel those resistors, they'll burn a hole in it. Let me flip cameras around here again. So I took it apart and got the pulled the LED out here, and this was the pre-wired ones, and you're not going to be able to see it on camera, but the shrink wrap around that resistor is melted. All right, it is a shiny black, and if I pull it apart where the wires were, you can see how it's discolored where the wires were touching each other. Okay, and so then the question was, well, how do I fix this and still use the chandelier? Well, the answer is fairly simple. Don't put the resistors in the chandelier. So I ordered some LEDs, 5 millimeter warm white LEDs without the resistors. Ta-da! Or not pre-wired. And they did come with a pack of resistors. And I think there's like 30 of them in this bag. And I wired it on Monday. I wired in 2 of them. All right. I'm not going to take the other 2 apart until these 2 make it a month. In the other cases, all of them went out within the month. So I'll feel pretty good in a little over 3 more weeks. If they haven't burned out, that will be good to go, and I'll change out the other 2 because they're not that easy to do. So that is what my mail call was. And when I get around to the tip of the day on it, it's going to be third time is a charm? ? So that's what I did. Oh, and the other thing I did was the little thing I made to hold my throttles and such, and Kindles. I painted it up this week, so I'm gonna make another one of these, so I have one at each side. Well, we lost John, or lost his camera anyway, and he's muted. There he is.
No, I was taking care of something. My daughter-in-law and my granddaughter were at the front door, and I was the only one that could get up and get them. So I had to let them in.
Okay. Yep.
But yeah. So I missed out. You did get your chandelier fixed. You're using the new bulbs that you're wiring the resistors far away from the.
Yeah, the resistors are wired in at the bus, all right, which
Yeah.
is well outside the chandelier itself. And on the roof detail kit I have some of those vents that are they're like they like this. You know the ones I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I drilled where I have those. I drilled holes. All right, so and put two of them above where that bus line is, where the resistors are. So and then I took a couple of pieces of glazing on the windows out, so there's a little free flow of air
Yeah.
through the model. So, hey Edward, welcome.
Well, another thing you could think of, Steve, is if you have that situation again that you think you're creating too much heat, you can always get one of those little PC vent fans.
Fans, yeah.
And if you don't have any, let me know and I'll send you some. I got a whole bunch of them. Every time I take a computer apart, I rob all that stuff out.
Hang on. Let me show you something. Now, if you watch those trees close enough,
Oh yeah, they're moving.
all right, they're moving. There's two ceiling fans, 52-inch ceiling fans up here. So there's plenty of air movement. That's not an issue.
Well, I'm talking about inside the structure that you think you may be creating too much heat.
Well, there's a. Hang on a second. Let me switch cameras and show you.
Because I mean, these fans are little. They're like an inch by an inch square. They could be added inside buildings.
And where inside that building do you think I have room to add it?
I don't know. It's just a suggestion. If you had that problem with another building,
that's like, the only building I have an interior. Well, not the only one.
No, no, it's not.
All right. It's the whole building is interiored. There's no room for a fan in there.
Okay, never mind.
But there is enough. Okay, that's where I'm standing right now. Okay, there's a fan right here, and the building's right there. So you have airflow.
Mm-hmm. Did you wake him up? Yeah. Okay, it's 10 minutes. Go wake him up again there. Go this way for me, please. Thank you.
And besides, the three bulbs that were already there don't have the same issue.
Okay. So it was just the chandelier.
Right.
Probably
I just took the added step of adding the vents just in case.
Okay. I guess maybe it's because those resistors were all clustered close together.
No, it's because it was one resistor in each chandelier. Okay. But there was absolutely no ventilation inside that chandelier. And it was the wires were right next to each other. So it heated up without ventilation. Hello, Ethan Armitage. And it created that melt. So.
Okay.
Hello, granddaughter.
Yeah, I guess she'll be here for a day and a half. Just lives right around the corner. Then I got
That
cats.
must be nice.
Yeah, It's the reason I moved here.
Yeah.
So,
Good morning, Bernard. Yeah, when I worked at the golf course through high school, in the summertime, like in June, I'd be up at the golf course at 5 in the morning mowing greens because it was light enough.
yeah. Yeah, I get
What
up
was weird? What was weird going to England, up north of England in Manchester, and going out to the bar one night with my buddy, and stumbling out of the bar at 11 o'clock at night, and it's still bright light.
Yeah.
I'm going, whoa! That was a rude awakening. Oh, I didn't start the other one back up. Duh.
Yeah, I know here, it's light by, well, the time change. It's light by 5:30 in the morning.
Huh.
So I could get up and start working if I wanted to. But no, I've been sleeping in lately. Of course, unlike Steve, I don't go to sleep until midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. And, that's when he's getting up.
Exactly. Actually, I slept in today.
What, to 2?
No, it's about 4:30, 5 o'clock actually.
Oh, my word. Cat, they don't want to see your butt.
That thing went off the track again. It's going off. Replace other thing then. What I thought.
He has a camera that used to be able to see the koi pond. He may have moved that because I always told him about expanding out to that portion of the porch. His goldfish are pretty big too. They're what, 30, 36-inch, Steve?
30.
30? That's
Yeah.
still big. Big goldfish.
30 to 32 probably. Haven't measured it.
Well, Bernard, I haven't been doing too much. I've been working outside a lot. Trying to get stuff done before it gets hot, which I'm running out of time. So then I'll be working more on interior stuff like railroad. I don't think I did a single thing this week on my railroad other than, getting the mail order boxes and looking at them.
Edward wants to see the koi, so hang on a second. And I will put the koi. There you go.
And see, he could run a track around that outside.
It ain't happening.
I'm trying to, even a garden railroad, you could have it running around there.
How many times I got to tell you? Electrical and koi do not go well together.
Oh, it's not that shocking.
No, I can turn a $10,000 fish into nothing.
Well,
A minor stray electrical charge will kink the spine of a koi.
well, but then you could have sushi.
Yeah, $10,000 plate of sushi. Yeah, that makes sense. No electrical. I've got everything that's electrical having to do anything near that pond is double grounded on GFI uh, uh, breakers and no electrical in the pond. You know, you see these people with submersible pumps.
I
Not
was
near
gonna.
my not. That's the quickest. That's the quickest way to turn a koi into crap in the sushi.
Mhm.
Uh, so
Mine was more when the pump stopped
hey
working.
Lee,
They didn't have any oxygen in there.
yeah, that'll do it too.
Yeah.
I've got
That's,
plenty of sources of oxygen.
uh,
Plenty.
is your you don't have your fall running? Oh yeah, it's barely running up
Oh, it's
there.
running more than you think it is.
Okay, just it doesn't look like it in the video. I can see a little bit of dripping there right in front of it.
Just the light.
There, that looks more. Yeah.
And all I have to do is change a valve and it'll look like that. Niagara freaking Falls.
Mm. And there's your neighbor out there too.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
She's getting ready. She's getting ready to sell her house.
Mm. Probably
If
because
anybody
she
wants
has.
to buy a house on the lake.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I found that out the hard way last Sunday, Lee. I'll try, but that's that. I already know that's going to be problematic at least through the summer.
Mm.
So anyway, that's the koi pond. They're swimming around.
And that's what, 4 foot deep, Steve?
6 foot.
6 foot deep.
Yeah.
So they have plenty of water in there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, see, my little koi pond that I had out back was, one, it wasn't expensive koi. Two, it was only 3 foot deep. And I still had, I think my biggest koi was about 22 inches before he died and floated up sideways. And yeah, that was a shame. I had some good koi, at least for me. I know you wouldn't have liked them, but at least they were koi-ish.
Probably like what I started with.
And
Nothing wrong with that.
I had a goldfish that was almost 12 inches long.
Yeah, these are. There's a couple, but most of them are 30 inches plus.
Yeah.
But that's here nor there.
Hmm.
Go ahead and put.
Train's back on.
Well, one of them anyway. Put it back in the barn.
Bernard, I sure hope Steve isn't in bikini season now. He can keep
Not
all
me,
his
no.
clothes covering. Yeah.
Let's change this over to that.
And then there, right in front of his test track there, that's, I believe, where Donner's Grove is going to go. He has a lift out section there that sort of covers up his workbench. There on the left hand side where the looks like the peanut jar lid's at. Peanut butter jar
Yeah.
lid.
Right here. This area. Here, I'll zoom out and you can see it easier.
So that's going to double as his workbench and his Donner's Grove area.
Yeah. There it goes in that area right there.
Mm-hmm. So that's about what, 18 inches, Steve?
What?
Depth-wise?
From here to here?
Yeah.
I don't know. Hang on. I was thinking more than that, like 20 inches or something.
Okay.
Yeah, it's 20 inches. And it's 34.
Okay. So what all do you plan on putting in there?
Station, Main Street, Park. So
Okay. And there'll be, 25, 30 episodes of that portion too.
probably.
Steve is definitely the Heath of episodes.
And I don't go into a lot of detail in my. They're not really how-tos as much as here you go.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong
Here's
with
what
that.
I screwed up in the process.
Yes.
Well,
Don't have to worry about thongs on me, that's for sure.
I think the motor control just went out on my Baltimore, Ohio. I'll shut it down. Just let it cool down, see if it just overheated some.
Yeah, it's not good when they overheat and melt your cab.
Yeah.
I
There
have
I am.
had that happen.
I never thought of using this camera to show the workbench before.
Yeah.
This is my, I've got a sensor outside, but this is my weather thing.
Well, your sound and your actual lips moving are very different. So
Yeah. Well, it's because I'm not. This camera is not tied directly into the computer. All right. This camera is tied into my security system, which goes through their server back to my router to my computer, and then in the StreamYard. And all those are micro delays. So. Anyway, it is what it is. Bernard, it's where I live. It's bikini season all year long. We go to the beach for Christmas. All right. So.
Yes, and I can attest to that. There are there are at least 3 cold days a year.
Yeah, but they're not until the end of January.
Right. Into January, early February.
Exactly. The last
But
week of January,
Thanksgiving
first
and
week of
Christmas,
February.
yeah, Thanksgiving and Christmas are two big beach days.
Yep. I mean, people take Christmas trees with battery-powered Christmas lights, take them out to the beach. All right, people go out for their Christmas dinners and have it on the beach. I mean, it's pretty festive out there.
And then when I was down there, and I worked for Pinellas County government, I was in the public works department, but my main task was took care of the parks department, all their repairs, new projects, new parks going in, major upgrades. I handled all that, so it was interesting seeing that the people were. It didn't matter what holiday it was, and there were only a couple of holidays a year that certain parks were closed, but the majority of them were open 365. And they would be out there.
Fort DeSoto Beach was one of yours, right?
Yes, yep. I did all the dune walkovers over there, several repairs of the fishing piers. We did a repair on the roof of the fort, which is under tons of sand, but we had to strip it all off and redo a polyurethane coating across the top of the roof to stop the infiltration of salt water.
Yeah, we just go to the dog beach for Penny.
Yeah. And I did a lot of the repaving there. If you go to the dog beach, parking lot there was repaved, and the one with the fort, and we had done the North Beach parking area several years ago. A lot of money, a lot of asphalt. That's
all right, John. You have a great day.
Take care, John. Fort DeSoto is Pinellas County's biggest park.
Really?
Yes.
Oh. Well, I can believe it because it's that whole island, isn't it?
Yes. Well, it's actually several islands. They're all linked together with the causeway. I think Fort DeSoto is made up of six islands.
Like Sand Key, is Edgemont part of it?
Egmont is not part of it. That's a state park there. Where the fort is, that's the original name is Mullet Key. And then I can't remember all the other names, but if you look back at historical maps, you'll see that they were all individual little islands through there. And back when
they're all connected now, though, right?
They're all connected now. Yeah.
During
World War II, Fort DeSoto was used as a practice bombing range, more on the eastern side than the western side. But when we do projects out there, we'd have to do ordnance inspections to see if there was any unexploded ordnance in the ground before we dig. And we did find some.
Cool.
But most of them were inert, but we still had to call bomb control from MacDill Air Force Base to come over and take care of them, because they were considered government ordnance, so they had to take care of them. But yeah.
Well, I do have one item on order, so I know I'll have at least one mail call next week.
Yeah, I probably will not. I think I'm pretty much done for the month. I do have the bid in on that one item that I showed you, Steve. We'll have to see how that goes. I'm pretty anxious on getting it, but I don't want to let anybody else know about it, or they may go and try to snipe me. But I don't know. It's
But
pretty ugly.
that's how I got this one I got coming. I sniped.
Yeah, I will. I, I'm I'm really looking forward to getting this one. So I will probably be there right when it closes and up my bid tremendously just to get it.
Well, John, let's wrap this thing up. I gotta go do some not inspections, verifications for the attorneys before they issue fines. So
Yeah, I'm sure your neighborhood loves you.
yeah, oh well.
Uh,
Actually, more people love me than hate me. So
well, that's always good. That's always
yep.
good. So, okay,
Well,
well, I know
I have
I've
as
got
many
one
people
coming out.
complaining about us not addressing issues than addressing issues, and the key is we are addressing the issues they don't think we are. It's just such a drawn out process, but that's another thing. Oh,
Yeah.
Tom's not on here today, but for those that watched Tom's Trains and Things, um, his rant, it's all about Comcast until he gets to the very end. And if you haven't watched the very end of that, you really need to, because you find out it wasn't Comcast's fault. They did put him through the ringer, no doubt about it. All right. Uh, he shouldn't have had to go through everything he went through. But ultimately, the problem he was upset about and trying to get fixed wasn't a Comcast issue. So go back and watch Tom's Trains and Things. His rant he put up, yesterday, I think it was? So.
I don't know. I thought the one yesterday was about his leaking water line for his sprinkler system, but maybe I'm
No,
wrong.
that was a couple days ago or over the
Okay.
weekend. So
But
anyway, hey everybody, I want to thank you all for joining John and I here at the Retirement Railroad for Friday Live and Mail Call. All right, and don't forget, y'all have a great day. Bye now.
bye all.